Let's now shift our attention to some other stories now, where amidst international pressure over its failure to crack the whip on state-sponsored terror, Pakistan will now have to contend with more scrutiny, courtesy the Financial Action Task Force. Now, the FATF will begin its week-long plenary meeting in Paris today, and the meeting will decide if Pakistan needs to be put on the FATF blacklist or does it need to be removed from the grey list. Now, a five-member Pakistani team led by Economic Minister Hamad Azhar has reached Paris for the meet. And this is, of course, the full-fledged plenary meeting that is taking place under the new Chinese presidency. So, China, interestingly, has got the presidency of the FATF. And the new Chinese presidency of Xiangmin Liu has now begun at FATF. The FATF will now assess Pakistan's progress on curbing terror. And earlier this year, the global terror financing watchdog, the Financial Action Task Force, had said that it is not satisfied with the measures that have been taken by Pakistan to clamp down on terror financing. The FATF meet comes just days after the Asia-Pacific Group in the month of August had released a report stating that Pakistan has not done enough in meeting the 26 criteria that had been set out for it. Now, the report had also said that Islamabad has not taken sufficient action to implement the sanctions on the 26/11 mastermind Hafiz Saeed. The report further states, and I quote here, the country faces significant money laundering and terror financing risks, and Pakistan was put on the FATF grey list last year. And this, of course, has been causing the country a loss of $10 billion annually. The country was given 27-point action plan by the terror financing watchdog, and this plan was reviewed in October 2018 and then again in the month of February this year, and the country was once again placed in the grey list. The blacklist will have more of a detrimental impact on an extremely weak Pakistani economy, as investors won't be keen to invest in a country that is prone to terror financing and also the blacklisting that goes with it. But how powerful is the Paris-based watchdog, the Financial Action Task Force? Now, founded in the year 1989, the FATF is an intergovernmental body whose purpose is to combat money laundering and terror financing. The FATF maintains grey lists and blacklists for identifying countries that have weak measures to counter and combat money laundering and terror financing. The FATF, however, does not have the authority to impose sanctions on a country found non-compliant with the required standards, though. Meanwhile, the United States President Donald Trump has defended his decision to pull troops out of northeastern Syria, stating that it was the right thing for him to do. But the Kurdish fighters have said that this U.S. action has now resulted in Turkish invasion that has also now revived the Islamic State. Now, Trump's remarks came as Turkey-backed rebels captured a key Syrian border town in what is being seen as Ankara's first major gain against the Kurdish fighters since the Syrian offensive began.
Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
And now I'm sort of an island of one again, but now it's maybe happening again. That 30 kilometers, about 22 miles, strip along Turkey. And the Kurds are tending to leave, and that's good. Let them have their borders. But I don't think our soldiers should be there for the next 50 years guarding a border between Turkey and Syria when we can't guard our own borders at home. I don't think so.
Now, the Kurds have said that they have shifted fighters who were earlier guarding the ISIS prisons to resist the Turkish invasion. The Kurd fighter groups have urged their allies to fulfill their moral responsibilities. Turkey has also reportedly captured the town of Ras al-Ain. The Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Front has accused the rebels of killing a Kurdish politician in an ambush. Now, the rebels have denied the claim as the fighting has entered into its fifth day. And also, the border town's capture has sparked a humanitarian crisis and a fear of a possible genocide that could be committed as the Turkish infantry is moving into northeastern Syria. Now, at least over 100,000 residents have fled from their homes so far as the Turkish infantry has moved inwards. Meanwhile, the Turkish border town was hit by a mortar shell. The Turkey, of course, continues to face international flag for its onslaught. The European Union has asked Turkey to show restraint, while the Arab League has called on the United Nations Security Council to take the necessary measures needed to make Turkey stop its military onslaught in Syria and withdraw its forces from the country. Another major player in Syria is the close ally of Bashar al-Assad, that is Russia, and Russian President Vladimir Putin has said that the Syrian sovereignty needs to be respected and all foreign forces should immediately leave Syria. Meanwhile, Iran has offered to mediate between the Syrian Kurds and the Turks. Now remember, Turkey is of course aiming to create a bit of a buffer zone in Syria by expelling the Kurds. Ankara has said that almost about 2 million Syrian Arab refugees who fled to Turkey will be settled in the so-called safe zone. The Turkish onslaught began after its NATO ally, the United States, withdrew from Syria. Now, the Kurdish fighters had played a pivotal role in Washington's fight against the Islamic State, and it is this very force, the Kurdish YPG, that had backed the Americans and it stayed such a faithful ally of the Americans, which has now been abandoned by the Americans.